did we get down to what we had found here? So
Yeah, it's coming up. It's coming up. Some of this other stuff that we have.
yeah,
Right.
So this to me, if anybody wants to know about tariffs, right? To me, this is kind of like the elephant in the room right now in terms of the end result, right? Well, what do we want, right? The goal of the tariffs is,
As Americans.
is to make it so America itself is more self-sustaining by way of being able to manufacture a great more of its own goods. Yes?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. So we went and asked how long it would take for America to be able to build the infrastructure to be able to manufacture everything that we are getting right now imported from China.
Yep.
And what we found is it would take a decade or more and significant investment, potentially hundreds of billions of dollars, for the U.S. to build its infrastructure to fully replace China's imports. This includes not only building new factories and production facilities, but also reskilling the workforce and addressing policy uncertainties that can hinder long-term investments. So, addressing policy uncertainties is almost impossible to get everyone to agree upon this.
Yeah, especially here in America. It's like we have a serious problem with the two sides fighting against each other and literally blindly following one side, whether it's good or bad.
Correct. The blind following is awful.
Yeah.
But also another big problem is, if you can go back up, was reskilling the workforce. Bro.
Yeah, it seems like Americans don't want to do a lot of the certain work that is necessary.
I was going to say Americans don't want to do a lot of work at all.
Yeah.
And you know, it is I don't know this, I'm uncertain of the number, but it is said that, you know, this next generation of kids, like a high percentile of them looking to be content creators. Like, bro, people ain't looking to get their hands dirty anymore, man, because we are entitled, because like people were born into the world where nothing was made here. Like there was like construction workers and a few other types of workers, but not nearly as many types of manufacturing jobs. Like it's not cool. Like people don't think that's cool to work.
So we've taken for granted what it took to build everything that now we have here in America.
As they say, how soon we forget.
Yeah. I would also say that there's other pieces to that, and the youth do not have the same opportunities that, let's say, the baby boomers had when they were young. For instance.
Well, the baby boomers got to like work jobs when they were like 8 and stuff, like 8 and 12. Like they there was no such thing as a work permit, bro, when they were kids. None of that stuff. So it's starkly different. You know
also,
what I mean?
Baby boomers' houses were like $12,000, $24,000. Maybe in the heart of San Francisco, $43,000.
Yeah, but
right
today, this is the same amount of money today. What they paid back then, now it's the same amount. It's inflation. Things cost so much more money. You see what I'm saying?
All right, so you're gonna tell me that my grandparents, who bought their house in South San Francisco for I think it was $22,000.
Yeah.
Okay, and after they passed, it was sold for
right. Two by fours back then when their house was built was costing like 8 cents, homie.
Okay, so check this.
The cost of building materials and like everything, like it's just over time.
So you're going to say in 50 years that house that went from $20,000 to $1.4 million, okay, which it's pretty hard for me to do the math on this, right? But I know that 500% would be $100,000.
It's the market, right?
Right? So we're talking about 5,000%, more than 5,000%, okay?
Right.
And now, if I was to go buy that house for 1.4 million. You're saying in 50 years, it's going to be 5,000% more than what it was, and I'll be able to have my, like, the same kind of feeling, the same opportunity that those grandparents had?
At the rate that everything else is also moving and growing with it, it's possible.
It sounds like what we built society based on always growing.
It's not sustainable.
And that's what my point is. And I'm just asking the question.
No, it's not sustainable.
Because I'm looking at this going, okay, so 5,000% growth from, 50, 60 years since they purchased their house to now, right? And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to go pay 1.4 million for that. That means it's going to be like hundreds of millions of dollars. Is what that's going to be worth.
That should also give should also give you a more of a realistic perspective on really the value, what the value of the dollar really is, right?
Yeah. So what's happening is, it's in my mind. I'm trying to make sense of all this, the opportunity, because I hear people say
that's how much less the dollar is valued. We're going to have to charge this much more money just to get something for this.
I hear people say all the time about our youth, the kids don't want to work. The kids don't want to do what we had to do.
And them kids be ready.
This is my perspective on it is, those kids don't have near the opportunity that you had. You were sold a bill of goods that this is how things were. Now all the truth is coming out. And we're able to see what is actually real, and we're learning how to disseminate from what were lies, what was real, and what was completely fake and made up to control us. The level of critical thinking that we have nowadays compared to what we used to have has gone down the drain. However, there's certain people and certain areas that we have really honed in and tried to uptick this by trying to create knowledge and use our critical thinking heads to disseminate what was truth, what was fake, what was a complete lie to control us, to go, well, what is our opportunity? So you say people want to get on YouTube. Hey, man. We're one of those people.
It's tough. It's a tough road.
Yeah. Oh, it's a tough road. I mean, we've been at it for 4 months now. We're seeing growth. We're seeing, progress. I'm really enjoying this. In fact, every 2 weeks when we get to come do this, this is like the best part of life right now, because I get to let it all out, man. Some of the frustrations that I have in the world, get to learn about it together from a different viewpoint, listening to yours, and then also in the middle, after we've done it, we get to see what the people say about what we put out.
I don't know if I agree on there being less opportunities for kids. Like,
they're different for sure, different opportunities.
Yeah, but there might be more for them though because of accessibility.
So you're saying they could do anything?
Meaning, like, there's like kids that are like 10 years old, 12 years old who like got rocking Instagram accounts who are like bosses, like shoe barons, like when it comes to like certain shoes and stuff like that, they're like in the game. You know what I mean? They're getting their money. Like we didn't have the opportunity to do anything like that. Like
that's true.
That stuff there's a whole bunch of stuff that's like that was not. It wasn't there, or we didn't have the accessibility because the internet wasn't quite there. Like, yeah, smartphones wasn't a thing. We didn't have those until way later. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure.
And these kids are like born with this stuff, and it's like putting them into other places that we just didn't have access to.
Yeah, there's lots of unknowns.
Yeah.
I think that's like a real thing that's happening nowadays is nobody knows what's going to actually happen. We have the fear of what AI could potentially do to us humans, but then also the blessings that it could bring, Yeah. We have like skilled labor that is like the only thing in my head, like, okay, well, I need to go get my hair cut, right? will there be a machine that could do this? Probably.
You just said haircut.
Yeah.
Shout out Mama Lori Biaggi.
There you go.
Mwah.
Yeah.
Love you.
You know, that's definitely something where it's like you're still going to want to go get your hair cut and pay that person for the service of doing it. And they're skilled, right? Yeah, work still needs to get done to keep up this society that we live in and these things that we take for granted.
Yeah, and that's where we have this issue, like I said, reskilling the workforce. Like, okay, let's first like figure out if we really got enough people to actually want to do the work. Let's just do that, right?
So Sun Tzu had a quote: "The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting." Mm-hmm. So some of the things that we see have happened here is China has banned rare earth exports, right, to the United States. It impacts U.S. military, tech, electronic vehicle supply chains. Mm-hmm. So it's like they're technically not fighting. They're not like dropping a BOMB.
This is another aspect of what is considered a Cold War. Right.
When I think of Cold War, I think of the
Russia, United States,
and all these
posturing, a bunch of posturing and blustering, and
all these weapons that became the legal arms trade later. That's what I think of, the Lord of War, right? That movie. Yeah.
Oh, which is in real life, Victor Bout, which was the guy that we traded for Brittney Griner.
That's who we gave away.
We gave away Victor Bout, the Lord of War, for Brittney Griner. That's what we did. Welcome home, Brittney Griner. Yeah. Imagine that. But I hope if it goes down, Brittney, that you so dope that you could get to blocking the missiles. Because, girl, man, okay. What else we got?
So there's a redirect, 150 billion in trade from U.S. to the global South.
Yeah. So everybody else, it goes everywhere else. And people are going to start doing business with other people.
So China courts the EU with trade incentives, offers tariff-free access to Yemen, Iran, Russia, and Africa. So essentially, they're creating a whole alliance.
Just pay attention. Africa. They didn't say any country in Africa.
Yeah,
They said the continent, homie.
Yeah.
Like, y'all wake up. And Africa is what? The motherland. Why? Because it has the most natural resources of any place in the world that make China's look small. And they about to get in with them. They already have business over there, though. You know.
I've heard this. I've heard that years and years ago, China started
mining.
Yep, getting their foothold in there and starting the process.
They have
for
a
what's
foothold
now
all over the world, bro. If anywhere that you go, bro, you will be surprised, bro. There's Chinese everything. Especially, what shocked me was going through the Caribbean.
What do you mean?
Dude, there's Chinese people all through the Caribbean. Everywhere you go, there's Chinese people. But they're like, they're influenced by the culture of where they live, so they're not like Chinese, you feel me?
Oh, yeah, just like Chinese Americans, right?
Yeah, but like, it's so dope when you see a Chinese person like, man, nothing you have to say about that. All right. Like, speaking deep Jamaican patois, you're like,
what?
Deeper than I can understand. I'm like, what the hell? And yeah, man, they everywhere. But see, they stick together, man. That's what I love about the Chinese culture, man. They take care of each other and they plan on doing stuff for their kids and their kids and all that. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, they're definitely playing chess. Mm-hmm. You know, they ain't playing no checker. So U.S. response threatens 200 to 300% tariffs on Chinese EVs, but the supply chain vulnerability is totally exposed. So it says the battlefield has shifted. Now it's about disrupting trust, trade flow, and economic morale. Quietly and surgically. Ooh, man.
And that's the thing. You beware of those who operate in silence. That guy was not over there posturing. That guy's over there, you know, like, yeah, hold on. Hey, y'all pull the plane around. Tell them, and them, we pulling up. We got deals to make. Damn.